And here is our Korean Zerg player. Very strong player, has been Code A for a few seasons, trying to keep himself in Code A for a 3rd season in a row, from the team Slayers. He is
Slayers YugiOh.
Slayers YugiOh, whose origins we have now thoroughly explored. His name origins, that is. Anyway, and I'm not going to forget it this time. Here is our Swedish Terran player trying to fight to be the second player.
Thorzain.
The second player to be seeded into Code A from outside of Korea and advance to the round of 16. There he is right there. Overlord's going to come in here, spot this command center, and the SCV spots the Overlord.
By the way, guys, thanks to GSL and Pepsi for sponsoring this lovely tournament.
Indeed.
Without them, we've got lovely sponsors, so we've got a lovely tournament. Everything is just lovely.
Everything is lovely.
And I don't mean that in the sarcastic sense where you hear people say, oh, this is just lovely. It's not like that. It's actually lovely. I love this tournament.
That's right.
I might marry it one day.
You're going to marry this tournament, man?
Yeah, man. That might be legal one day.
Depends on what state you're in, I guess.
I don't know, man. I'm in Korea, not in a state.
Depends on what mental.
I'm in Mokdong.
Depends on what mental state you're in.
That's actually what it depends on. Yeah.
If you're in a mental state where you think it's okay to marry tournaments,
it's not okay. That's my personal. That's my personal opinion. Though.
If you were gonna marry a tournament, if like you were the last man alive and this tournament was like the only thing else left alive
that you could marry,
I don't know where I'm going with this. Point being, GSL is awesome, and YugiOh has expanded and gotten a spawning pool.
Thorzain is going for a 1 barracks expand again.
Indeed.
Similar to what we saw on Terminus. Very difficult build to pull off on Metalopolis for Terrans. But he's going to pull it off. He's going to attempt to. There's the command center now.
There it is. And
YugiOh, well, I was just going to say, YugiOh, we're at close air distances.
Yeah.
As the game goes longer, there's going to be drop opportunities, but there's also going to be mutilus opportunities. So there's going to be a lot of harassment going on at these positions.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Thorzain was a little bit more aggressive than he was in Game 1. And either drops early or maybe Banshees. Quick Banshees would be a nice thing to do, something along those lines. Because it is going to get to his opponent's base really, really quick.
He's, again, going to pressure with his first Marines. I really like that. Something that a lot of Zergs don't do, or a lot of Terrans, rather, don't do in this matchup. If you lose the Marines, it's not too impactful, but at the very least, it forces Zerglings, which means less drones. So even if you don't kill any drones, you've killed them via opportunity cost because you force Zerglings with your Marines. Oh,
and he actually took his Marines all the way around kind of the top so that the Overlords didn't spot it, and YugiOh has 2 Zerglings on the map. He's going to probably... well, actually, may not take some damage. Thorzain's gonna like just fall back from that.
Well, he's done what he's needed to do. He's forced YugiOh to make 4 Zerglings. That's 2 drones that didn't get made.
That's all you need to do.
That's all you need to do.
You don't actually need to do damage necessarily. And YugiOh realizes this, switches back into building 9 drones after those Zerglings. So smart play by both players, actually. Really, really high level there.
And YugiOh, I think, is pretty much got a clear idea of what's going on. He's knows that Thorzain did this build in the first game. He has scouted, he saw just the barracks, no add-ons yet.
Ooh, Tech Lab on that barracks. That's interesting.
Gonna get stim ASAP.
Yeah, he's probably gonna get stim, but he's kind of varying from...
It's basically the exact same build we saw on Terminus.
Yeah.
He's got 2 factories.
Yeah.
One with the Tech Lab, one not.
I was thinking the last game he went for the reactor first, so you're right, though.
And now he's going to make a few Hellions, but he's not going to get Blue Flame.
Yeah, you're right. This is exactly what he did on Terminus. And you know what? Go with what works.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of players just repeat builds to the GSL because it works. But this time he is going to get Blue Flame. You see that icon up there? It's blue. Thank you, Blizzard. Thank you, Dustin. I always address Dustin personally when I watch this. I don't know if he actually watches the GSL, but if Dustin Browder watches, I'm a huge fan of you, Dustin Browder. Thanks for watching the GSL.
Me too.
Thanks for making a great game.
That's right, man. I was hoping I get to meet him again. I think he was at MLG, but I didn't.
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Dustin.
And then there was a party I went to where I was talking to, like I said, I was talking to those Blizzard guys, and they're like, Dustin was supposed to be here, but he's not. I'm like, dang it.
He's probably just working on Heart of the Swarm, trying to make it an awesome game. I expect big things, Dustin.
You know what? Some of the Blizzard guys that were at NASL, they were working on Heart of the Swarm because they were asking a lot of the pros like opinions on like balance and stuff. So that was kind of cool.
Blizzard does a decent job of making sure that the pros are addressed about these issues. I really like that.
Thorzain slightly miss-Maynarding, but taking care of it. Oh, his Overlord's going to try and sneak in.
Well, the Zerglings did see the Hellions. I think he has got a pretty good idea of what's going on now.
And actually, this time he did go with the Blue Flame. The Free Igniter is going to finish in just a moment. Now, YugiOh is really prepared for this as far as his buildings, but he only has Zerglings.
His Spine Crawler's in a really good spot. The hatchery's going to help wall off. There's a Baneling Nest even to help as well. Thorzain has to be very careful. I'm not sure if he's even going to attack here. He might poke at the Baneling Nest a little bit, which would be pretty good. No reason not to.
Yep. Might try and take out those creep tumors. Although, I don't know if he wants to spare a scan at this point.
Yeah, he's just trying to find a weakness. He's trying to scare the Zerglings out, essentially.
And YugiOh's just being really patient, doing a really good job of defense. Look at that. The hatchery with the queen there. Just perfect placement for everything.
And he's baiting the Zerglings out. Oh
no, he might get trapped by the Zerglings and killed by Banelings. 2 of them do go down, and the other 2 are going to get picked off by the Zerglings. And that was actually... Thorzain just lost map control, man. Yeah, that was really bad, unfortunately, for Thorzain. I knew his plan. I knew what he was trying to do. It was a good idea, but that was a smart little, like, trick. Yeah. Smart trick by YugiOh there, going around with the Zerglings. Thorzain's like, oh, sweet, free Banelings, and then the Zerglings come. He's like, oh, I see what you were doing there. And then Thorzain thought he was baiting him out, but YugiOh was actually baiting him in a way. Exactly. We may see some really high economy Baneling aggression here. He's taking a third base. Thorzain's not going to, I don't think, expect a bunch of Banelings to roll into his natural here. No. But there are already tanks out, so I don't think he should. And oh, is he going to lose the tech? He's researching siege mode. No. Brings in a bunch of SCVs to repair that. That's good. That was a close call. I always like cringe when I see like Mutas attacking a tech lab or whatever, and they send like one SCV to repair it, and the Mutas just kill the SCV and finish off the tech lab, and you're like, all right. So that's good for him to send multiple SCVs, make sure it didn't go down. He does not, he basically can't afford to lose siege mode right now. He would just die to the Banelings. Or at least be trapped in his base. Exactly. Thorzain, he's got a Hellion over here. He sees that there's a third base going up. Baneling, I don't know if that was worth it, but turns up the main. YugiOh's just made a few mutas. He's just trying to scare Thorzain, but I don't think that's his master plan. No. It's not his master plan. He's like, well, I'm going to make a few mutas, but I'm going to make a lot more later. Well, actually, it is his plan is to make more later because he's upgrading... yeah, he's got +1. +1 weapons. What I'm saying is, right now, he's just making very few, which is a really smart choice. He's adding a few very slowly, but he wants to secure that third base. That's his real plan. So he's spending a lot of gas on Banelings, making sure that his opponent stays in his base. That's what he's using his initial Mutalisk for. He's got a huge counterattack force poised at the third base of Thorzain. If ever Thorzain decides to do a timing attack, he's going to keep in his base with that as well. So really nice moves by YugiOh. And way overcommitting here, though. YugiOh's like, you know what? I'm feeling ahead. Here, have some mutas for free. That's pretty much what happened there. He's like, I don't need these mutas anymore, man. They're like old. I've had them for years. I'm just gonna donate them to charity. He's gonna get the Muta 2, but then the Overmind is like, well, don't get the Muta 2 because the Muta 3 is gonna come out next summer. Exactly. He's like, well, the Muta 2 is out only. Let me like just get rid of it and sell it while I can get more for it. And he's like, well, here's the thing. I'm gonna wait until the Muta 3 comes out and I'll get my Muta 2 for a reduced price. That's because Mutalisks, because Zerg units are actually Apple products. Well, okay, right now +2 is being upgraded. Okay, when that's done, maybe he'll add the more mutas. That's true. Yeah, and it's smart of him to get those upgrades even if he's not using the units so that later on he's got high upgrades. Yeah. That was something you'd often see actually in StarCraft 1, I remember. If you didn't get your air upgrades, then later on if you had to tech switch, you would just die to like Goliaths. Yeah. Because they were upgraded. Or something like that. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, that's very true. Or Marines, you know. Anyway, oh look, he's got those Banelings burrowed, just like we saw in the previous set. against Jinro. He's got the Banelings burrowed at the expansion.
Yeah, in a
that
very
Thorzain's
clever
likely
spot.
to take. But Thorzain has Thors out now.
Yeah.
He's got Thorzain Thors out.
Losing those Marines there. Some Zerglings and Marines just meeting each other on the side of the map. The Zerglings had some foul play going on.
And here comes a big push across the bottom highway of this map.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard for YugiOh to hold. Thorzain has a very strong army.
And he's going to do it. Here's the thing. He's going to do it slowly and steadily. But slowly and steadily, this close on Metalopolis is actually really fast.
Yeah, and
so it's not going to take him long to push.
He's also going to be able to siege up into the main and then do drops there.
That's true.
That's why YugiOh is going right into the main base of Thorzain right now with those mutants to try to draw him back.
Yeah, that's a good idea. He should have left a Thor behind, I think.
Yep.
Because he knew that was going to happen.
And 2 turrets in the main base aren't really enough.
No, he's actually going to lose a couple turrets, a tank. He's going to lose these Marines. He's probably going to lose that medevac. And maybe some barracks if he doesn't do something about this pretty quick. These mutants are really just rampaging, but Thorzain is not halting his push at the same time. But his tanks get too far ahead. They're going to die very quickly before they siege up. Banelings rolling in. Is he going to have enough tanks to kill all these Banelings? He does kill the Banelings, but there's too many Zerglings, and they're just going to roll over everything. Marines, tanks, Thors, everything dying to these Zerglings. And oh no! Thorzain, who looked so dominant in Game 1, is now in grave danger of losing this game. He's going to lose these medevacs. He's down to half the supply of YugiOh.
He was at such a good position. He just got a little ahead of himself. He was so patient in Game 1. In Game 2, we saw a little bit of the, being too patient. And in this game, he just lost his patience, man. He was like, I'm going to go with these tanks. And look at those Banelings. He's got a shot of them there for a second. I expect that we're going to see some SCV carnage pretty soon.
Yeah, this is not good at all.
GG.
There's a GG. Well played.
That's that. He just knew he couldn't come back.
So
YugiOh.
There's YugiOh. He's got to be happy about that. He's a little bit relieved, I think, because I think he knew he was in danger of losing that series a couple times.
That was pretty scary for him. But
wow.
I was going to try to make a Yu-Gi-Oh joke, but I'm just like, I don't actually remember it very well. I'm like,
I don't know anything about
I know
Yu-Gi-Oh.
the characters' names in the anime, and I know like some of the old cards I used to play with, like Gravity Bind was like one of the cards I had that was like a cool card. I had like a strategy based on it.
I don't know, man.
I'm just trying to make Yu-Gi-Oh references, but
so now I just gotta say though, oftentimes when you see like foreign tournaments or something where like Koreans go in, top Koreans go in, and they play against the foreigner sometimes looks like a joke.
Yeah.
And in that matchup, Thorzain went head-to-head, toe-to-toe with a strong Slayer Zerg player, and he did not look like a lesser player that was trying to beat
he looked just
a
like
greater Korean. That was like a normal Code A match.
Yeah, that was like a Code A player.
Thorzain really showed his stuff there. And Jinro as well. Both players today have been equals to their opponents.
Yeah, and they both did. I mean, even though Thorzain didn't go through the rigorous qualifiers, with the way he was playing, I think he could have made it through.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what we're saying here. I mean, Koreans have to go through a much more difficult process than being seeded at MLG. It's very similar. I don't want to say it's more difficult. It's hard to compare the two, but anyway, it's very difficult. The Korean players are considered better. That's just I'm just saying the facts that are true. It's actually true. Koreans are considered better.
You're all thinking it. We're just saying it.
I'm like, well, I don't think people are going to be offended by this. I'm just saying things that are true.
Yeah. Well, and it's not necessarily. It's not like an insulting thing.
Yeah.
To say that they just have a lot more experience and that kind of thing. Anyway, we got 2 Swedes left. Coming up after this break, 5-minute break, we're going to come back here and see if Sase and Naniwa can do a little bit better than their fellows. We'll find out in a few.